The art of falconry is the taking of wild quarry in its natural habitat with the use of a trained raptor. This ancient sport can be traced as far back as 2000 BC in ancient Mesopotamia. It is believed to have been introduced to Europe around 400 AD when the Huns invaded from the east. Around 1200 AD, there was a wellspring of traditional falconry knowledge when Frederick II obtained an Arabic falconry manual and had it translated into Latin. Falconry was a sport of kings and nobles in medieval Europe and in the Mongolian Empire. With the introduction of the firearm in the 18th and 19th century, falconry began to fade. Falconry had a resurgence in the late 19th and early 20th century, which led to the introduction of this ancient art form to North America. The sport of falconry is now regulated by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Department, who issues licensing. This ancient sport seems to have a bright future due to the many teens and young adults taking up this noble art form.
I'm Silas Mount. I'm 16. What drew me to the sport was that it was hunting, but also with an animal. So you get to be with an animal, but you also get to hunt. So that kind of concept drew me to it. And I've tried to learn as much as I can about the history. There's not a lot of books on it that I could find at our local library. So I basically have read about the Mongolians starting and that falconry started somewhere in Asia with a guy thinking that he could hunt things with a bird after seeing one take game. I know that it was practiced a lot in medieval times as a sport for noble people and to put food on the table as well. I contacted somebody with the Georgia Falconry Association, and I talked to them a lot, and I read the packet that is sent to you that you apply for, and it said that you have to take a test, and you have to study for the test, a 110 question test on falconry and birds and that sort of thing, and then you need to get equipment and build and construct your enclosure for your bird to live in, and then have that inspected, and then a request to get your permit once you've gotten your inspection and your test passed. The steps I take to hunt before and during would be first to weigh my bird named Tom. I go out in the mews and put him on his scale and check his weight and make sure that he's within his margin of flying weight that he needs to be at. And then after he's been on his perch for about an hour, I'll put him in his box, which is for traveling, and and that's in the car. And then we drive to the hunting place, and I'll walk over, and we hunt in a forest, and we hunt squirrels, and I'll toss him off my fist. When he sees something, he'll fly off his perch, and he'll try and catch it, and if he doesn't, he'll try and catch it until he can't see it anymore. My plans for my future in falconry would be to eventually get my red tail to be able to hunt crows. That's in the near future, because that's something that proves that the red tail is very fit and has great ability. And then in the next few years, maybe next 4 years, I would like to eventually get a male Harris hawk and hunt crows with that, or maybe even hunt him in a cast with my red tail together on squirrels or rabbits. And then I think getting a golden eagle would be amazing, but there's not a lot of game here in Georgia that I think would work for hunting them on. So I don't think that would be possible, but it would be something that would be really cool to do someday. My overall view of falconry and my impression of it would be that it's a really amazing sport, because for the most part, if you're an apprentice, you're going and you're driving around and you trap a bird out of the wild that pretty much hates you and thinks that you're going to want to eat it, and then within a month after you've trapped that bird, you are able to go out and catch things with it. So, and hunt with it and actually realistically collect game. So that would be my biggest impression, is that this is amazing how much we've learned over the thousands of years just to be able to go out, catch a bird, and hunt with it. But I've learned so much about birds and people too, but about the way animals think and the way animals act.